Hello students, in this video we will study the chapter on motion. See, what is motion? How to define it? See, on the surface, if you have an object, a box, after some time, if the same box is at this position, after some time, if it is found in this position, this is the initial position, this is the final position. So we can infer that this object called box is in motion. But motion is not so simple to understand. There are many examples of motion, and there are many objects. We see some objects at rest and some are in motion. We are particularly concerned about the motion of objects here, so we will concentrate more on the motion aspect. When we see birds flying in the sky, and we can observe the motion of the bird. Similarly, we can see the fishes in the sea or in the water. If it is swimming, we can see the birds, the fishes moving. The movement itself is motion, we can say like that. But to perceive the motion, it's not so simple, it's very complex. Most motions are complex. That's the word I mean to use here. See, if you want to define motion, we will define the motion and then we will explain the complexity of motion, how an average person cannot perceive that, because in daily life we see many things in motion. An object is said to be in motion, to be in motion if it changes its position with time. So examples: birds flying, fish swimming, swim of a fish, blood flowing through veins and arteries, through veins and arteries. So these are the examples we can give for flying, for motion of the objects. But this gives you an interest. If you read this note, this chapter becomes interesting. See, what happens when you see the passengers moving in a bus? If a passenger is moving in a bus and the person standing outside, you will see the bus as well as the passenger is moving. But the passenger inside the bus and the fellow passengers, or you can call fellow passenger and the person sitting inside the bus, are at rest. You will see the fellow passengers are also at rest, and the E himself is at rest. But the person standing outside the bus, you will see that bus as well as the passengers inside are moving. In the same way, the passenger inside the bus will be seeing the trees that are planted on either side of the roads. Usually the trees will be moving backwards. But we know, and the passenger also knows, that the bus is moving, but the trees are at rest with the ground. It's motionless. So that's why I begin the sentence with most motions are complex. Most motions are complex. How can you elaborate? Imagine, or I don't need this sentence. A bus traveling with passengers For the passenger, the trees on the roadside appears to be moving backwards. It appears, but we know that the trees are at rest. A person standing on the road sees the bus and the passengers moving. But for the passenger inside the bus and the fellow passengers are at rest. So that's why most motions are complex. That's the reason. Most motions, instead of most, I will read some motion of objects are a straight line motion, linear motion. If the object is moving in a straight line, it is called linear motion. And some may take circular path, and some may vibrate about their mean position, A combination of all of these, of all of the above motions, can also be seen in objects. So in the next session I will explain motion in a straight line. Motion in a straight line. Thank you. Bye.